Okay, first I have an announcement. I know there's a lot of you that are going to the Capousd meeting, at the end of the month. Denise needs your check for $35 by Friday, made out to Capousd Chapter 2. Okay, if you're a member, it's only $25. Okay? I think we're going to...
No, no, pay last year, did we? No.
We're all going to get reimbursed by district, but they're doing it differently. We have to pay it up. And then in about 6 months, we'll...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Denise is arranging for us to probably take a bus
Anybody
for
who's
everyone who can
interested,
meet here.
we'll get the times.
So that'll be fun.
Especially if you're a cover driver.
Party bus. All right.
Definitely. Okay, so first I want to talk about accidents, but I'm not going to really talk about any accidents that any of us have had. Okay, that's not the reason why I'm talking about accidents. It's more about the law and procedures. Okay? So the first thing we have here, I don't know if everybody can see, is we have Vehicle Code 12517.1. Okay? Especially the new originals and the new renewals will remember that. What it says is, it's the definition of a school bus accident. And it says a school bus accident means any of the following: a motor vehicle accident resulting in property damage in excess of $1,000 or personal injury on public or private property, and involving a school bus, youth bus, school pupil activity bus, or GPPV. And when you're transporting a pupil.
Hey, Ira,
Okay.
you're going to have to almost yell back here.
You guys can't hear me back there?
No.
It's super soft.
Okay, all right. All right, so basically it's when you're transporting a student and you have property damage of $1,000 or more, you have an injury, and it's on private or public property. That's what I just said. Can everybody hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Can you hear me now? All right, number 2, a collision between a vehicle and a pupil or a school bus driver while the pupil or driver is crossing the highway when the school bus flashing red signal lamps are required to be operated pursuant to section 22112, or when the school bus is stopped for the purpose of loading or unloading pupils. We've all had that constantly, correct? But I don't think we've had an accident, but some of us have had some close calls. I don't know if the few drivers are in here, when they've been out in the street doing an escort crossing with the stop sign.
A little louder, please.
Okay. That's kind of hard. All right, so is anyone here who has had a close call doing an escort crossing with the stop sign? Okay, Ed, tell us about it.
I see it every day on all the other buses. Last year, around 5, numerous times in Dana Point, right in front of the sheriff station. Cars just choose not to listen to you, or they see you stopping, so they choose to floor it. They yell and floor it. Slow down.
I
that
had one even hit my stop sign.
Wow, okay. There you go.
Shipper Park.
Wow. Okay, so now there's a third type of school bus accident. It's injury to a pupil that's inside the school bus due to the motion of the bus. Braking hard, accelerating fast, taking turns too fast. And that's kind of tough, because I know a lot of us have pupils that like to lean against the windows. Even in general ed, special ed, it's kind of spooky when they're leaning against the windows. But that's the third type of accident. Any questions on that? All right, I'm going to continue on with some of the code. We have 13 CCR, Title 13, 1219. okay? And I'm going to read it to you. It's just real short. I'm going to read B, sending for help in the event of an accident or emergency. A driver shall not leave the immediate vicinity of the bus to seek, and unless no pupil aboard can be sent to summon for help. Remember, if you're in an accident, and it's in our accident packet, which I'm going to go over real quick, when you leave the driver's compartment in an accident, it's a crazy situation. And your adrenaline's going, and you might not be thinking as clearly as you'd like to. Just remember, secure the bus, turn the bus off, take possession of the keys. Then check to see if everyone's okay, or they need first aid, etc. Okay? So just remember that. Okay, a couple more codes. Okay, this is Vehicle Code 2001. The driver of a vehicle involved in an accident resulting in injury to a person other than himself or herself, I'm going to shorten it, shall immediately stop the vehicle at the scene. So it's really important to not leave, obviously, and stop right there. Okay, if somebody's injured, don't move that bus. All right? Vehicle Code 2002, right here. The driver of any vehicle involved in an accident resulting only in damage to property, including vehicles, shall immediately stop the vehicle at the nearest location that will not impede traffic or otherwise jeopardize the safety of other motorists. So if there's an injury, you stop right there. If it's just property, let's say another car, you pull over where it's safe and get out of the way of traffic. Any questions on that? Okay. Now we have our vehicle packet, the accident packet I should say, in all the buses. It might not look as nice as this. If you want a nice one in your bus, come see me. I'll get you a nice packet. It has all the instructions of what to do here. Now, any of us who have had a problem, like an accident, the magic number is dispatch. They're going to help you through the whole thing. They're your best friend. Okay? Anybody disagree with that?
No.
Right. They'll tell you exactly what to do, and they're going to take care of a lot of things behind the scenes. A lot of this is by law that we have here in our accident packet, all the steps. There's a few key things. First of all, when you exchange information with the other drivers that are involved, if there are other drivers involved, Denise keeps telling me to go. It's hard. Okay. All right. Never share any information about the accident with another motorist that's involved in the accident. We had a driver who retired from here who almost everybody loved. He was a great guy, funniest guy I think I ever knew. And he got in an accident. It might have been at Newhart. I don't really remember where. And right away he said to the parent, he goes, "Oh, it's my fault. It's my fault." But when the camera was reviewed, it wasn't his fault. It was the parent's fault. So never exchange information. Only with the police officer and our supervisors and dispatch. Okay? You just exchange information. Just his name, address, telephone number, driver's license, that type of thing. Again, I said earlier, the first thing you should really check is for injuries. I got another quick story about that. How much time? Well, we got plenty of time. Okay. There's somebody you all know, and some of you might know about this accident. We were going to a school. This driver was in his bus ahead of me. I was behind the driver. We're going speed limit, 45 miles an hour. A car totally blew a red light from a side street into the main road, right when this driver was there. And it was a T-bone on our driver. And it was pretty fast, pretty hard. That was a crazy scene. Crazy for that driver, crazy for me. The first thing I did was stop the bus, and I called dispatch. And what I said was brake, brake, emergency. I never had to do that before, but I heard dispatch always do that, brake, so that's what I was doing. And then I put out emergency reflectors, not only so they wouldn't hit me, I actually kind of put them out into the lane number 2, so they wouldn't go blowing through and getting in an accident, because the vision would be kind of impaired for the cars coming up behind me. Now what that driver did was pretty amazing. We had no students. That driver got out of the car and right away ran to the vehicle that caused the accident to make sure that driver was okay. And that was pretty amazing. Very heroic. I mean, I would like to think I would do something like that, but I don't know, because it's an incredible instinct of caring. So that's how chaotic accidents can get. Anybody want to add anything, or? Andrew?
I have a question.
Yeah.
If we're like stopped at an intersection and we have students on our bus, and all of a sudden someone runs a red light, bam, accident in front of it, we know our camera caught it. Is there some sort of procedure? Do we just ignore it, or are we witnesses? What should we do?
You mean you witnessed it, but you weren't part of it at all?
Correct.
I don't think there's any policy on that, because I know all my years with different instructors and different management, they all feel differently. In fact, a lot of them would say, if you have students, move on. Get those kids to school, get those kids to home. Don't risk anything with your pupils. That's your main concern.
But you can definitely share that information when you get back to the yard, right? You know, and then we could relay it to our local law enforcement and let them know and say, hey, this happened at this time. We have video of it if needed.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a good thing. You don't know that.
Yes.
Is that when you should push the button on the video thing?
No.
Well, we could actually get into the time. So if you tell us the time that it occurred, we could actually pinpoint that exact time or approximate time to where we could pull it up ourselves.
What was his question?
He was asking about as far as the green button that flashes
To market.
to mark it, which you could absolutely do that as well. But if you happen to forget at that time, you could just give us an approx time.
By the time you mark it, though, the accident's over.
That does get outside
Maybe,
view.
right?
Yeah, we-
Doesn't it like
That was
record
just
a
like-
few minutes back?
I think that's
I think it's like 10 minutes back. isn't it?
When you mark it?
Yeah.
No, when you push the button, does it like have a certain range?
I don't know. Does it,
Yes.
Dennis?
To be honest with you, I'm not quite sure. I'll have to look into that.
When you push that
Well, hey,
button,
today
doesn't it
find
go
out.
10 minutes back?
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. All right, anybody else want to share anything? Okay, that's fine. So in your emergency packet, the first thing we have, this is a real clean version. Of course, we have proof of insurance, right? Then we have the page where we're going to share information and get down the information of the other motorists or witnesses, whatever have you, okay? Your accident statement, very, very important. Seating chart. This is a big deal. Now, I've luckily never had the privilege of having a school bus accident. I guess I've had a little luck. We all need a little luck, that's for sure. And, but I know through the years, people who have had school bus accidents, if it's a minor thing, and it usually is minor, the CHP are on their way and let's say they can't roll or get to you for about a half hour, and it's minor, and you haven't started to do this, I've heard many stories, they're gonna be really upset with you, okay? So just remember, if you can do it, nobody's hurt, it's minor, get this chart done. All right. Any more questions about accidents? Okay, so you stop at the scene immediately if there's an injury, if it's only property like another vehicle, and nobody's hurt, you pull over where it's safe, okay, and get out of the way of the other motorists. All right? Okay, the next thing is going to be bus evacuations. Yes?
Just to be clear on the definition, it can be any of those, not it has to be this or it has to be that to be considered a school bus accident.
Right.
Okay.
Right, it's 3 different types. Okay. All right, we're going to be getting this bus evacuations ready. Okay, we're going to start soon. I can't give you a date yet, but I'm going to alert you, it's going to be soon. We'll start with the elementary schools, and we have a nice form that's a little bit easier than the one we've been using. I mean, we've been using like an old packet. It does the job, but now it's kind of a little more updated and clearer. What we have is very nice instructions. So for anyone who's new here, who's never done a bus evacuation, it tells you what to do step by step. And even for us drivers that have been drivers for a while, we only do it once a year. So, you know, we get kind of rusty on it. All right? So step by step. Very simple. I'm sure Denise, myself, and Kennison will be at the locations. We'll have mats, just like we've always done. Okay? This is the new form that you'll fill out as a driver. So it's very clear, very easy, very simple. Okay? And we're going to make the whole process for you very simple and effective. We're following law by doing this once a year for K through 8. This is the law. Education Code 39831.5. We have to do it once a year. Okay? Even special ed. But we do use our common sense. Okay? Obviously, we're not going to lift a wheelchair through an emergency exit. Right? So we do the best we can with special ed. If there's a student who might have a meltdown during it, don't force things, you know, be careful about who your students are, what triggers them, and just make it go nice and smooth. Okay? Any other questions?
Do you do bus evacs at ATP?
They
No.
ride.
No.
What?
No. We're going to do elementary schools and the middle schools.
No ATP?
No, no ATP.
High school?
Oh,
No,
high school?
no.
You know, like my Downs kids, I mean, if they don't want to move, they do that down thing and they don't move. And I don't want to,
You mean when they turn into jello?
they just drop
Yeah, yeah.
and just don't move.
Yeah, don't force them. Don't trigger them. Don't let them melt down. Okay? And if you need help, of course, we'll be there.
I've got 3 that will do that.
Okay, Denise,
Not a
myself,
lot of time.
or Kennison will be there, okay?
Okay.
And we'll help you out. All right? Okay, anybody want to say anything? Okay. That's it. Did everybody sign in? You didn't sign in yet? Okay. All right, everybody, that's it. All right. All right. Go ahead, Monica.
When are we getting our parking spaces?
Madison, please. They're going. Sharon.
Ira, do you just want us to time our unload for wheelchair kiddos? And I have 3 runners on my bus and no help. So they're not going out any door except the front.
Karen, we'll be at your school.
Good idea.
Guys, please, please, please. All special ed drivers, you need to submit your left rights with corrections and details so I can sign you off. You're going to be responsible about that. If a sub get lost or accident happen, you're going to be responsible.
No.
So you need to come to me. I'll do it immediately. Okay? Yes. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
What happens if you signed off on it and it still comes out wrong?
What do you mean?
Like, let's say your system has it correct, but then when dispatch made.
Whatever I have, dispatch had.
Okay, so.
The supervisor has, Carlos had, everybody had.
If you're a substitute and you're doing a route and the left right is not correct, if it's no neither in the afternoon, bring that route sheet for me, I will fix it or I will keep it to give to Nathan the next day.
Yeah.
It's no excuse.
Yeah, even if
We are
it's not
here
your
to
route,
fix it.
and if you're a sub or a cover driver, please come back with any corrections.
Okay, can I chime in on that for just a second? Listen for just a second, guys. We
Guys.
talked about this. We don't cause undue stress to our kids. We don't want to irritate the parents. Make sure your left rights reflect exactly what you do.
Yeah.
Because you know what happens. You make a wrong turn, every autistic kid on your bus is going to be screaming, "You went the wrong way." Parents, how come you're so late? Take the time to make them reflect exactly what you do. That'll save everybody a lot of grief in the long run, okay?
Especially if it's a tight run and you have another school and
Absolutely.
and you're
Like,
helping out,
for
you're
instance,
picking up
Jens, if
work.
you take the freeway and,
Yeah.
and every day, and then the other driver will take the Pacific Coast Highway, the kids will flip, right? So,
Yeah, and
whatever you
sometimes-
do, let me know so I can put it in.
Sometimes the driver goes one way and the directions goes different way.
Exactly.
And they said you're going the wrong way.
So they
But
should
they
follow
never
the left
change.
right.
They never change that.
That's why the,
I mean,
the,
that's
the
okay,
regular
they-
driver should say exactly what they do every day.
Exactly. Well, I am the regular driver, and I was out Friday and Monday. I had 2 different drivers on Friday and Monday, and my aide is like, they do not go this way you have, I don't know what they did, why they did
Yep,
it.
they go the way they
should
want.
follow the left
And
right.
I adjust that.
Yeah, your left rights are good. I know we fixed it.
But yet this other person, your driver decides to do it completely different. They both do.
That happens, as when I was a cover driver, if I knew a quicker way, I would take the quicker way. That's just, what we want these to be, is for any substitute coming on,
But you're
into a bus needs to be able to do it correctly.
So,
That
so
defeats the whole
please try
purpose.
to do it this week or next week maximum, so we finish with everybody.
Andrew, go ahead with your question.
Are we allowed to cut a step out of the left right so we have a call off, like, oh, I don't have to go to this student's house, so I can stay in 5 minutes?
Yeah, you can do that, of course.
When you get to that next house and it's not a time, don't put your beeper on or just wait there.
Yeah, sometimes they're there. You guys are doing a great job this year. I think this is probably, in my 22 years, and I'm sure Lima feels the same way, this is the happiest I've seen this place, the most positive I've seen this place.
Yes.
And I want to continue this. So everybody work together.